Welcome back to our channel. Today we delve into the extraordinary yet heartbreaking life of Amy Winehouse, a voice that defined a generation. Known for her soulful melodies, raw lyrics, and unforgettable presence, Amy became a music icon whose impact is felt even today. But behind the bold beehive and powerful vocals was a woman battling inner demons, navigating love, fame, and the pressures of a relentless spotlight. From her childhood dreams of stardom to her meteoric rise, from public scandals to the tragic struggles that marked her final years, Amy's story is as poignant as her music. Join us as we uncover the highs, the heartbreaks, and the lasting legacy of this remarkable artist. Amy Winehouse, a name synonymous with raw talent and tragic destiny, entered the world not with a whisper, but with a reaction that would foretell her stirring impact on music and the world. Amy was born in 1983 in London and became known for her incessant energy, earning her the nickname Hurricane Amy. She loved to sing and was affectionately called Nudge, a Yiddish term meaning pest. Her grandmother Cynthia, who had been in a band and dated the musician Ronnie Scott, inspired Amy's love for jazz. Cynthia recognized Amy's talent early and encouraged her to attend performing arts school. Despite her father Mitch's financial struggles and frequent absences, Amy adored him. However, his long-term affair and subsequent remarriage deeply affected Amy, leaving her with abandonment issues. Her relentless energy and unquenchable curiosity painted a vivid portrait of a soul both vibrant and vulnerable. With every note she sang, Amy invited us not just to listen but to feel, sharing a world marked by profound passion and piercing pain. Behind her iconic beehive hairdo and soulful eyes lay a complex journey marred by battles with love, fame, and inner demons. Amy Winehouse was a complex and multifaceted individual, even as a young student. Her intelligence was evident, but the conventional structure of school often left her feeling stifled and restless. Yet, amidst the monotony of classrooms and exams, Amy found a spark in her friendship with Juliet Ashby. This bond went far beyond shared musical interests. It was a connection built on trust, humor, and unwavering support. Together they created their own little world, filled with inside jokes, musical experimentation, and rebellious escapades that made school life bearable for Amy. The duo's performances in a Salt and Peppa tribute group were more than just playful childhood endeavors. They were a glimpse into Amy's emerging artistic identity. Whether they were singing in bedrooms or goofing around during rehearsals, these moments planted the seeds of Amy's future career. Juliet wasn't just a friend, she became a quiet anchor in Amy's turbulent world. Through the ups and downs of Amy's fame, Juliet remained a constant, offering not just encouragement but also a reminder of simpler, happier times. At 13, Amy took a leap of faith by applying to the Sylvia Young Theater School. This was a pivotal moment in her journey where her exceptional talent began to shine in ways that couldn't be ignored. Her application wasn't just about ambition. It was a heartfelt declaration of her dreams to make an impact on the world through music. The school recognized her potential, likening her to greats like Judy Garland and Ella Fitzgerald. But Amy's time there was as challenging as it was inspiring. While her passion for music flourished, her rebellious nature clashed with academic expectations, eventually leading her to part ways with the school. Still, this period laid the foundation for what was to come. Amy wasn't just chasing fame. She was striving to create something meaningful, something that could touch people's lives. Her determination to help people forget their troubles through her voice reflected a maturity and depth that were rare for someone so young. These formative years weren't just a prelude to her stardom. They were a testament to her resilience, her individuality, and the friendships that gave her the strength to push forward. As Amy's education journey came to an end, her determination to pursue music only grew stronger, leading her to the first steps of her career. After leaving school, Amy's path was far from conventional. She took on various odd jobs, ordinary roles for someone with such extraordinary talent. But even during this time, Amy never stopped writing, singing, and honing her craft. Music wasn't just a passion for her, it was her essence, her escape, and her way of interpreting the world around her. In 2002, Amy Winehouse signed with Simon Fuller's 19 Management, earning a modest weekly salary of £250 while preparing for her future in music. During this time, Amy was kept under wraps, quietly honing her craft and performing jazz standards at Cobden Club. But her talent didn't stay hidden for long. Darkest Beast, her future A&R representative at Island Records, first heard Amy's voice by chance. He was shown a project featuring her as the lead vocalist but wasn't told who she was. Intrigued, he spent months investigating before finally discovering the incredible talent behind the recordings. By then, Amy had already recorded several tracks, signed a publishing deal with EMI, and was collaborating with producer Salam Remy. Bees introduced Amy to Nick Gatfield, the head of Island Records, who immediately saw her potential. At the same time, other major labels like EMI and Virgin Records began vying for her attention. Bees later shared that Amy's rise came during a time when audiences were craving authenticity amidst the reality TV music craze. Amy was the breath of fresh air the industry needed, a young artist with raw talent and a unique voice that couldn't be ignored. Her first big break came thanks to a friend who saw her potential and introduced her to the talent agency Brilliant 19. This recommendation was life-changing. Through Brilliant 19, Amy caught the attention of EMI, a powerhouse in the music industry, and was quickly signed. What followed was her debut album, Frank, a record that introduced the world to Amy's distinctive voice and unique style. Blending jazz influences with sharp, heartfelt storytelling, Frank resonated with listeners in a way few debut albums managed to achieve. The rawness of her lyrics and the depth of her sound painted a picture of an artist who was both immensely talented and deeply introspective. But while Frank brought Amy recognition, it also brought frustration. She felt the album didn't fully align with her vision, describing it as too poppy compared to the jazz-driven authenticity she wanted to convey. It was a bittersweet victory, a moment of triumph that also highlighted the industry's push and pull with an artist's creative identity. As her career began to gain momentum, so too did her personal struggles. Amy's battle with alcohol and an eating disorder started to take root during this time. Her mother, Janice, initially brushed off Amy's remarks about her new diet, thinking they were typical of her daughter's dark humor. But the signs were there, a weight that continued to drop, the increasing reliance on alcohol, and the cracks in her vibrant persona. These early struggles were overshadowed by her burgeoning fame, but they hinted at the storm brewing beneath the surface, a storm that would later dominate her life and legacy. Amy's beginnings were anything but ordinary. They were a mix of brilliance and hardship, triumph and tension. Her journey through Frank was a testament to her raw talent and determination, even in the face of an industry that didn't always align with her artistic goals. After the release of her jazz-influenced debut album, Frank, Amy Winehouse began exploring a fresh musical direction inspired by the girl groups of the 1950s and 1960s. To bring this vision to life, she enlisted the Dap Kings, the longtime band of New York soul singer Sharon Jones. The collaboration brought a bold retro sound to her music, both in the studio and on tour. Amy's father, Mitch Winehouse, shared a fascinating insight into her creative process in his memoir, Amy, My Daughter. He described her perfectionism in the studio, noting how she'd burn a CD of her recordings and listen to it in his taxi, wanting to hear her music exactly how most people would. In May 2006, Amy gave the world its first taste of her second album with demos like You Know I'm No Good in Rehab, which premiered on Mark Ronson's radio show in New York City. These tracks quickly gained attention, building anticipation for her next release. The album Back to Black was completed in just 5 months and featured 11 tracks produced by Salam Remy and Mark Ronson. Both producers brought something unique to the table, and Amy didn't hold back her opinions. Ronson later admitted that working with her was a mix of challenge and inspiration, recalling how she wasn't shy about calling out work she didn't like. Amy, in her signature humor, confessed that when she first met Ronson, she mistook him for an older, bearded sound engineer. This period marked a turning point in Amy's career, solidifying her as not just a vocalist, but a true musical innovator with a style all her own. Beyond her music, Amy's creativity and influence extended into fashion, business, and media, showcasing her multifaceted talents. Amy Winehouse wasn't just a musical icon, she was also a savvy businesswoman with an eye for creativity and opportunity. By 2008, her net worth was estimated at £10 million, landing her in the top 10 of the Sunday Times list of richest musicians under 30. However, her wealth fluctuated, and by the following year, her fortune was reported to have dropped to around £5 million. Despite this, Amy continued to find new ways to share her passion and expand her legacy. In 2009, Amy announced the launch of her own record label, Lioness Records. The label's first artist was her 13-year-old goddaughter, Dionne Bromfield. Amy supported Dionne's debut album, a collection of soul classics, by contributing backing vocals and even performing alongside her on the BBC's Strictly Come Dancing. This project reflected Amy's commitment to nurturing young talent and passing on her love for music. That same year, Amy also collaborated with fashion brand Fred Perry to design a 17-piece collection inspired by her iconic vintage style. From capri pants to argyle sweaters and trench coats, the collection captured her love for retro fashion. Amy was hands-on in the design process, personally selecting fabrics, colors, and fits. Following her passing, Fred Perry honored her legacy by releasing her remaining collections and donating 20% of the proceeds to the Amy Winehouse Foundation. Amy's influence extended to the arts and media as well. She was featured in a 2009 documentary, Saving Amy, which offered an intimate look at her life, struggles, and family relationships. The documentary later inspired a book of the same name. Additionally, she partnered with EMI to create gift wrap and greeting cards featuring lyrics from her iconic album, Back to Black. From record labels to fashion and media projects, Amy's ventures showed that her creativity went far beyond music. These endeavors allowed her to connect with fans in unique ways, leaving behind a multifaceted legacy that continues to inspire. Amy Winehouse's relationship with Blake Fielder Civil was one of the most defining yet destructive chapters of her life. It was a bond that burned with passion, but one that also fueled much of her pain. Their relationship wasn't just a private affair. It was a spectacle that unfolded under the relentless gaze of the media. From their dramatic public displays of affection to their well-documented substance abuse, the couple became a constant source of headlines, and their chaotic love story captivated the public. Blake's influence on Amy was undeniable and in many ways devastating. Friends and family watched helplessly as Amy, once a fiercely independent and vibrant soul, seemed to transform under Blake's sway. He introduced her to a darker world, one that was far removed from the creative brilliance that had defined her early career. To those who loved her, Blake represented not just a toxic relationship, but the embodiment of the forces pulling her away from the life she was meant to live. Despite the warning signs, Amy and Blake married in 2007, a decision that many close to her feared would accelerate her decline, and they were right. Amy's health took a sharp downturn as her struggles with substance abuse deepened. The highs of their passionate love were matched only by the devastating lows, and their volatile dynamics seeped into every aspect of her life, including her art. But the cost of their love was steep. Amy's escalating drug and alcohol use led to a series of hospitalizations, each more alarming than the last. Her physical health visibly deteriorated, and her erratic behavior began to overshadow her musical genius. Public appearances, once showcases of her immense talent, turned into cautionary tales. The vibrant artist who had captivated audiences with her soul-stirring voice became a tragic figure battling demons she couldn't outrun. For Amy, love was both her muse and her downfall. Her relationship with Blake Fielder Civil wasn't just a chapter in her life, it was a storm that shaped her music, her legacy, and ultimately, her tragic end. It's a story of passion gone awry, of a love so consuming it left destruction in its wake, a poignant reminder that even the brightest stars can be dimmed by the weight of their struggles. Her public performances became both a showcase of her talent and a heartbreaking window into her struggles. Audiences who came to witness her powerful voice were often met with slurred lyrics, erratic movements, and a disoriented demeanor. For fans, it was a painful reminder of the toll her lifestyle had taken on her health and artistry. Yet, even in the midst of chaos, Amy's talent shone through. Her music, raw and unapologetically personal, continued to resonate with millions. In 2008, Amy achieved what many artists only dream of: 5 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year and Record of the Year. It was a night that solidified her as a global icon and celebrated the depth of her artistry. But for Amy, these accolades seemed to mean little. Behind the scenes, her addictions and inner demons were an ever-present shadow, dimming the joy of her triumphs. The recognition of her work was bittersweet, as her personal battles began to overshadow her professional success. At the same time, her relationship with Blake Fielder Civil unraveled. What was once a fiery, passionate connection had become a toxic cycle of dependency and pain. Their 2009 divorce marked a turning point in Amy's life. It was a moment of emotional devastation, but also a fleeting opportunity for her to reclaim some semblance of control. Unfortunately, the scars of their tumultuous relationship lingered, leaving Amy even more vulnerable to the pressures and addictions that plagued her. Despite her struggles and public scandals, Amy's generosity and compassion often shone through, revealing another side to the iconic artist. Throughout her life, Amy generously donated her time, money, and music to numerous causes, with a particular focus on helping children. One notable example was her involvement in a campaign to prevent the construction of apartment buildings next to the iconic George Tavern, a beloved music venue in East London. Amy joined others in raising awareness, fearing that the development would threaten the venue's secondary income as a filming and photography location. Amy also supported breast cancer awareness, posing for a striking and candid photo shoot in Easy Living magazine in April 2008. Her advocacy extended to environmental causes as well. In 2009, she contributed to a charity CD titled Classics, alongside legendary artists like the Rolling Stones and the Killers, to raise awareness about climate change. Her generosity didn't stop there. Amy donated a vintage dress from her Tears Dry on Their Own music video and a DVD to the British Music Experience, a museum dedicated to the history of British pop music. In March 2011, she donated over £20,000 worth of clothing to a local charity shop in London, an act that reflected her quiet compassion and support for her community. Perhaps one of the most touching examples of Amy's kindness occurred during her stay in St. Lucia in 2009. A local man, Julien Jean de Baptiste, revealed that Amy paid £4,000 for his emergency surgery, a life-saving act he never forgot. When he tried to thank her, Amy simply hugged him and said, "Don't mention it." Amy's activism and philanthropy showcased a softer, deeply human side to the global superstar. Beyond her music, she left a legacy of generosity and compassion that continues to inspire. Amy's final years were a mix of brief hope and ongoing struggles. Despite her ongoing battle with addiction, she sought stability and love in her relationship with filmmaker Reg Travis. Those close to her hoped this partnership might help her find a new path, but the demons she had fought for so long remained ever present. Her disastrous tour in Eastern Europe was a heartbreaking display of her fragile state. On stage in Serbia, Amy appeared disoriented, struggling to remember lyrics and barely performing. The crowd's reaction was unforgiving, but for Amy, it was yet another moment of public exposure that revealed the depths of her personal battles. She had wanted to cancel the tour, expressing her exhaustion and confusion, but pressures from external forces kept her on the road. As the end neared, Amy seemed to retreat inward, seeking solace in familiar faces and memories. In the days before her passing, she spent time with her family, poring over old photographs, laughing and reminiscing about happier times. These moments of connection showed glimpses of the Amy her loved ones remembered, a vibrant, creative soul filled with warmth and humor. However, beneath the surface, her struggles remained unresolved. On the morning of July 23, 2011, a quiet stillness fell over Amy Winehouse's London home. Her bodyguard, performing what seemed like a routine check, discovered her unresponsive. The vibrant, uncontainable energy that had defined her was gone. At just 27 years old, Amy joined the heartbreaking ranks of the 27 Club, a chilling fraternity of extraordinary artists whose lives were cut short at the same tender age. Her passing was a sobering reminder of the vulnerability that often accompanies great brilliance, a life filled with talent, passion, and pain, extinguished far too soon. Amy Winehouse's legacy is as complex and multifaceted as the artist herself. She wasn't just a singer, she was a voice for a generation, blending the raw authenticity of jazz and soul with deeply personal, confessional lyrics. Amy's music captured the highs and lows of the human experience, speaking to heartbreak, resilience, and the bittersweet beauty of life. Songs like Back to Black and Rehab remain timeless, resonating with listeners who find solace and connection in her words. Her struggles, while a defining part of her story, do not overshadow her contributions to music and culture. Instead, they add depth to her narrative, highlighting the courage it took to channel her pain into art. Amy's ability to bare her soul through her music left an indelible mark on the industry, inspiring countless artists and shaping modern soul and jazz. Even now, Amy Winehouse's voice echoes in the hearts of fans worldwide, a reminder of the brilliance she shared and the tragedy of her untimely loss. In remembering Amy, we honor not just the struggles she endured, but the immense talent and humanity she brought to the world. Her story is a powerful testament to the transformative power of music, proving that even in her absence, her art continues to inspire, heal, and resonate. Amy Winehouse wasn't just an artist. She was an icon whose voice and story continue to inspire millions around the world. Thank you for joining us to celebrate and reflect on the life of this unforgettable artist. If you found this story moving, please like, share, and subscribe for more.